Hey folks, this is Nick and Goddess for MRC-TV. We're here in downtown Washington, D.C. We're only a few blocks from the White House, where there is a heavy police presence around statues and in front of the White House.
You don't want us to go back on the barrier.
You do not need to be here. You do not need to be here.
Thousands to their deaths.
You can leave. Don't be their tool.
And now you stand here in the exact little formation that they told you to. For what?
We're in front of the police line that are guarding Lafayette Park and the White House in the face of the protesters. We saw you were putting American flags and flowers at the line. What was your purpose for that?
I want to show honor to all three distinct sides in this, and I know we're hurting as a nation. Everyone's hurting. We're really upset with each other.
What brought you out here today?
It's been just time and time again. The powers that be, the Metro Police Department, the Park Police, have been exercising excessive force against peaceful demonstrators.
They maced the crowd at least 6 times.
And you're talking about the police?
Yes, they maced the crowd at least 6 times. They had a helicopter flying over, spraying mace in the air. And
were they spraying mace for no reason?
definitely, like, people was just trying, yeah, it started over to Andrew Jackson, but but once they started coming out here, people was just trying to protect the circle. People was just trying to protect the medic tent. Like, they tried to take the medic tent yesterday.
So the actions that the officers or the police department took last night, whether it was, if it was tear gas or whatever else, do you think that they did that just because, or?
I think that in every situation, whether you're looking at a police department or a sports team or protests, you will always have people doing things that cause you to be afraid. But we cannot let fear govern our actions. And deploying tear gas when there are children in crowds and when there are peaceful, almost entirely peaceful demonstrators, and when you are deploying batons and you are beating at people's legs, what you are doing is you are giving into fear.
Do you think these protests, to a degree, have lost some of the focus?
Oh, most certainly. And I think that's a big problem when you have a lot of the media trying to protect in one group the peaceful protesters and those who are simply opportunists taking advantage of this opportunity to go loot and riot. In my opinion, if you're looting and rioting, I don't know how, after you have the brother of George Floyd specifically saying that that's not right and that that's not a way to honor him, if they're doing that, I don't think you're honoring George Floyd.
As we've seen over the last month or so, there have been a lot of riots, there's been a lot of looting.
No, there have not. There has
Rioters and looters have taken over cities.
There have been a couple of rioters and a couple of looters, but if you look at every city in this
Only a couple of people took down the entire city of Minneapolis?
They didn't take down the city. Almost all of them were peaceful protesters.
The entire city was on fire.
The entire city was not. Were you in Minneapolis?
Were you?
No.
What's your take on the vandalism and the rioting and the looting aspect of the protest?
I don't completely agree with that, but if that's what needs to be done for things to change or whatever.
But should crime be answered with crime?
Not really. Not really.
I don't know of any American who's looking at the riots and the looting and how they've been defended by the mainstream media as a net positive for the protesters who are actually here to give a message.
While I have not lit anything on fire or destroyed property, I cannot say ill about those people because they are angry and their pleas have not been answered. We were out here in 2018, we were out here in 2016, we were out here in 1965, and those prayers, those requests have not been answered. I'd be angry too.
The thing I'm most distraught about is the idea that we had one moment where we as a nation, conservatives, liberals, people on the far left, could all come together and say, wow, what we just witnessed was wrong. We love you, black community. We're all with you. That was horrible.
We had an opportunity for unity.
For a total unity.
And by bad actors, it was ruined.
Totally wasted. Totally wasted. And that's the thing is, like, I just think I blame the media. I blame the media. I just blame the media that they did this and that they totally took a moment, an opportune moment of total unity, and broke it apart and broke it down by party lines.
So what do you think, going from here, what do you think the end game is?
We gonna keep going until some change happens.
And what's your idea of change?
First of all, this shit here needs to change. Like this shit ain't even called for. Like they're committing war crimes right now.
You have to remember, the media, before they are there to inform you, they're businesses. They're looking for ratings.
Right.
So they're going to sensationalize everything till they get everybody in a panic. If you had to give the media a grade during this whole thing, what would you give them?
Total F. F for sure. I mean, like I said, you're taking honest, good protesters, you've been lumping them together with the rioters and looters, and you've been trying to say that there's not many of them, when in reality there's tons of them and tons of opportunists making and wreaking havoc on these minority communities, on these already struggling, poor communities that need our help and need our help now. And they've just made it so much worse. No, I think the media, hands down, has totally failed and made a botchery of this whole thing.